A Giants cup.
Oh, why? What's with the smaller mug today?
It's because it's a coffee. It's an iced coffee from Oatly.
Oh, yeah.
So, but I still have the jug of water. The mug of water is still here.
But, okay.
It's actually mostly empty.
I was going to say, what's
I meant to refill it and I got it.
what's the point of this then?
It's just give me a bicep workout.
Wow. Fill it up with air.
I'm going to get really thirsty. This is like a regular person's glass of water.
Right.
Now I'm going to have to refill like all the other chumps who don't drink from a stein.
Good morning, everybody.
I really want this to be a trend.
What's
like
that?
Water steins.
Why?
What do you mean, why?
Because you,
It's
okay.
just such an obvious question. Because it's awesome.
Waterstein. Yeah, I dated a girl in college named Waterstein.
The Waterstein Bears.
Their whole kitchen was just filled with giant steins.
Okay. Well, I mean, I just don't know why. Maybe in German and other Germanic countries, they already do this. And we just don't know. I don't know.
I don't know.
But I'm sure there are people at home saying, yeah, my water dispenser is too small.
Yeah.
I have to refill several times during the day.
There's a lot of people at home right now just feeling incredibly inadequate about their size of their water intake device. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I'm
God,
sorry
man,
about
I've been
that.
missing this. I've been missing this my whole life.
Get yourself a stein. If you see one like at TJ Maxx or something, I want you to tag me on Instagram.
That's how you can raise your self-esteem, is getting yourself a stein.
I suppose.
That'd be a good tagline, right? Raise your self-esteem with a large
Did
water
you put
stein.
product in your hair today?
No.
It looks
Product?
good though.
There's no product. All I do is make my hair wet. Like I get out of the shower and I just like comb it. There's no product.
Sometimes you put product.
Product.
No?
No.
Like, a gel or something.
Oh, sometimes I put a little just like a pomade or something so it doesn't get, because my hair gets all like frizzy and
But it
stuff.
looks
You look
good.
more like
Like-
a Dapper Dan man, though.
Dapper Dan, what's that? Is that some sort of a balm?
Yeah,
Some kind of a balm.
You ever see Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
No.
Years ago, I don't remember.
I'm a Dapper Dan man.
And it's like a balm that he puts in his hair.
Yeah. And yes, we know there's an echo. You guys, we're gonna fix that this weekend.
Yeah, David's. So David has an echo right on David's side. There's
Yeah.
So yeah. Good morning, everybody. Welcome in. Hope any newbies here today on the show. If you're new to the chat, let us know. Let's see. Yes, and Angel Baby Card says yes. Cup size matters. I agree. I've been saying that for years. Let's see here. Becky Medvets. Good morning. Morning, everybody. Where's Grover, by the way?
I have not seen him. Did you close the doors so he can't escape during the show?
What's he up to? Like, he shouldn't be just like hanging out somewhere.
He usually is where like there's a Grover-sized divot in that pillow.
Right. This is his. Look at that.
it.
Like, look at Grover. Where the heck is he?
Wherefore art thou, Grover?
Wherefore art thou? Yeah. Anything you want to talk about in the pre-show? Anything at all that's on your mind?
Me, besides your hair?
Yeah, besides my hair.
And David said, oh, I like your barrette this morning. And it always surprises me when men know the names of things like that. You see, I'm wearing a barrette.
I had to ask. I wasn't sure if that's actually what that was.
It is. Yeah. It is a hair barrette. And thank you for knowing that word. That's
Normally David's barrette of compliments.
stupid. That one was stupid. So yeah, thank you for noticing those things. Us women put effort into.
That's right.
Actually, that means there's no effort at all.
No effort when you wear a barrette.
A barrette or a ponytail.
I'm learning a lot. When you have a ponytail, or a barrette, that means you.
I couldn't be bothered to tease it up. I was telling David on the day we met. I was in Fox, and I said,
By the way, do you have no respect for wood?
I have respect for wood. This is an insulated cup. I put a lot of thought into my cup choices. See, it's insulated. It won't create.
But clearly you don't have respect for wood. If you did, you'd have it on a coaster.
I told you, this is an insulated mug.
Okay.
How many times do I have to tell you
It's
that?
still sweating. No, that's fine.
It's really not.
You guys ever see that Curb Your Enthusiasm episode? Who is it? Is it Julie Louis-Dreyfus?
Yes, it
Larry
is.
David goes over to her house and she's like, Larry, what? You don't have respect for wood?
Because somebody ruined an antique and they're
that's
trying to
right.
figure out who it was. And it wasn't him. It was his wife.
Oh, that's
that
right.
did
That's
it.
right.
Sorry to give that away.
Now, what was your Fox hair story?
Oh, I went in that day and I had this like smart red dress and I said, can you give me a ponytail? And they're like, no, this is Fox. We don't do ponytails. That was absolutely not. They wouldn't let me do it. It's so many times when you work in the news that you don't get to choose how you look, you know.
Oh, yeah. Like I wanted to grow a beard or facial hair. Like,
Or for even Movember, you wanted to do that.
yeah.
And they said, no, please don't do that next month either. We can contribute to that in other ways.
yeah.
You can turn on mix minus again until the end of the time and then turn it off so I don't echo.
All right.
It's the
How do I do that? I gotta keep remembering all these. Okay. Audio processing, mix minus. Okay. Gotcha. Figured that out.
Angel Baby is saying Barrett's came back in 1981 and 1982. I think they're still in.
Yeah, I don't think they ever went out.
What does Ohana mean? Ross says.
Ohana means family.
Oh,
Yeah.
hi, Natalie. You are Ohana. Oh, Ohana.
Everybody
Where?
wants to know what you guys did for your anniversary last night. I know that you didn't get in till 11, you rebels, or in bed till 11.
We went to a really nice restaurant in Lisbon called
Oven.
Yeah, I'll show you some photos. I saw some photos here. So there we went. Went to Oven.
It was
you
fantastic.
guys look nice.
Thank you. And
It was a Nepalese restaurant.
So that's when you have time to do your hair right there.
no, yes, I did yesterday. I did sort of blow dry it out so it looks sleek.
Sleek and neat, sleek.
So that's a
sleeker.
blowout. That's a blowout night.
I guess. Yeah, you could say.
Ooh, that place is cool.
It's
Cool.
fancy.
It's new. It's pretty new. Whoa.
Yeah. Clayton,
What?
switch.
Switch what?
Switch to picture.
To that one?
No, switch to the food.
Okay.
What the heck is that? A lilac?
I don't know what kind of food that is, but
It was like a chili appetizer. It was yummy.
it was a fish curry. Yeah, it was really delicious. And then there was some delicious garlic naan. Well, yeah,
What you?
that was when Natalie was yawning.
Oh, two can play at this game. Hold, please.
No.
Oh, we're just gonna embarrass each other. Personal
feeling
pictures.
sleepy.
That's the game we're playing in.
Hey, you had her out till 11, man.
Right. I got the, I don't know what kind of, some kind of chick. What
It
did I
was a
have?
vindaloo.
Oh, it was a vindaloo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a really spicy vindaloo.
And mine was a Goan salmon.
Yeah. And then it was great. We actually met a couple who was sitting next to us. We were there for our anniversary, and they were there for their anniversary, 30-something years.
31 years.
31 years.
Yeah, so they had us beat by 20
Yeah.
years. It was really exciting. We got cakes.
So they
gave
took a
us little
picture of us, and we
candles.
took a picture of them, and we were talking
Nice.
and having a blast. Yeah. And then they brought out cakes for both of us, and it was a lot of fun. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Now, did
And then
they?
it
What are
came-
those candles in the middle of them? Is that like a little cake of some kind, or is that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
it
gave
was
us
like
like
a
a little
little-
tort.
What kind of cake was that? It was.
I don't even really know.
remember.
It was very confusing because it was cold, but it wasn't an ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
And it was solid, but it wasn't a cake. I can't really say. It was like dry ice. I'm not sure.
Yeah. And then we got home, and the babies were already asleep. So Eve was passed out.
You took a picture of her sleeping.
I did. And then my other one, she was sleeping on the wood railing.
So, okay, they have bunk beds, but they're not supposed to sleep together normally. But they do, especially during Halloween, because they get scared.
Of random stuff. Yeah.
Not random stuff, the stuff that you actually subject them to. And so he told the babysitter to play them a scary movie.
Uh-huh.
And
Nightmare
Eve
Before
could
Christmas.
only take a few minutes. And then they both were up at 5:30 because they were afraid. And so, like Clayton thinks, like,
They didn't even watch the movie. They didn't watch the
things.
movie. They watched Mickey Halloween.
They still woke us up at 5:30 because they were afraid. Yeah. So they had to sleep together, and then.
Yeah. Anyway.
And did you use the flash in those pictures because it seemed awful bright?
Yeah. Actually, no flash in these pictures.
And was it dark in there?
Yeah, it was pitch black.
Actually,
no. I think this was a flash. I forget. Yeah, this was a flash. You can see it on my hand there because I couldn't see what the framing of the shot. Anyway, we're going to start the show in a minute, but we got a lot to talk about this morning. But I wanted to show this. I want to show this little Grover video. So this morning I was walking Grover. Grover made a friend this morning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Grover was out making friends this morning. I mean, that's not Grover, but here's Grover making a friend. Whoop.
Clayton.
What?
Take it off of your screen when you.
There we go.
That's cute. What's the friend's name?
I don't know. I could call him Scruffy, but he looks like the dog from. Doesn't he look like the dog from Pirates of the Caribbean ride? The dog that's holding the key.
Oh yes, he does.
There was an injured seagull there this morning. There was an injured seagull, and this guy was like taking care of this injured seagull, and but he was running around for like 30 minutes. That's why he's passed out somewhere now.
No.
The owner of the dog was taking care of the seagull?
Yeah, there was like an injured seagull, and then Grover, of course, wanted to try to play with the seagull, and the bird was like snapping at Grover, and then he was like, okay, I'm not going to play with you since you're not moving. Normally when I get near a bird, they fly away. I don't know what's going on here. Anyway, this was his bud on the beach today. It's Grover's friend. We'll start with little doggies to kick off our morning. All right.
That's awesome. Okay, so make sure you turn off Mix Minus so that when you go to play videos, they're ready to go. And then we're ready.
All right, we're ready to go? Ready to rock and roll on this morning? Okay. Let me just make sure this is ready to go. That's ready to go. All right. And here we go on this Wednesday, October. Oh, did I
That's yesterday's.
Why does that keep happening?
I don't know.
Give me a second.
But okay. Hold, please.
Yeah, days progress.
So, Kristen there says Natalie's afraid that Clayton's going to reveal some real personal pics after dinner. That's exactly right. And, we're like any other couple that embarrasses each other and takes pictures of each other when they're not expecting it. I used to have a whole album of Clayton sleeping on public transportation, which my mom calls it the salmon. We call it doing the salmon. Do you know what that means, David? When you're asleep in public.
Elaborate.
It means your head's forward and your mouth's hanging open like a salmon, like this. That's called doing the salmon. And I have a whole album of Clayton doing the salmon.
So do I.
Okay. Link, please.
I know. I have a full video series of that, or a full
I don't do the salmon. I do backwards salmon.
Yeah.
Like that. Like a carp. Clayton does the salmon.
It's the most unflattering.
It's so stupid.
It's the most unflattering photos possible.
If you accidentally put any pictures of me doing the salmon, I quit. I'm out of here.
All right, here we go. I think I got it set this time. I think. Okay. All right, ready to rock and roll? Okay. And we got the Mix Minus off. We're all good on that front. And here we go. All right. Good morning, everybody. It is Thursday, October 21st. On today's show, we have got jobs numbers out this morning, which we're going to get to in just a few minutes. What does this mean for the economy? We're going to hear from the Federal Reserve today on that. We've also got housing numbers that are coming out. So how is our economy doing? We'll go through some of these numbers this morning.
And Biden's stimulus gets slashed once again. This time it's paid family leave on the chopping block, and progressives are mad as snakes about it.
Yeah. Can they win this battle? It doesn't seem likely. We'll talk about that. And are you cutting back on Christmas spending this year? Maybe even not spending anything at all? We're going to show you the new report out this morning. It shows lower income Americans right now are cutting back on Christmas and just say, you know what? We're canceling Christmas this year. We just can't afford it.
Like the Grinch.
Yeah, unfortunately. And it's not their fault. They have nothing, it's out of their control. All right, let's get uncomfortable this morning. Morning Invest starts right now. And welcome into Morning Invest on this Thursday morning. We hope you're doing well.
It's Thursday. I'm Natalie Morris. We're so glad you joined. We have a lot to talk about today and some trending news as well. And there's a lot. We're excited to
Matt
get going.
Gaetz. We got some hilarious sound from Matt Gaetz yesterday, trending this morning with Jamie Raskin in the Senate, on the floor of the House of Representatives. It was pretty fiery.
Mumbly jumbly. That's what it was.
Mumbly jumbly.
Mumbly jumbly.
It's good stuff. We'll get to that. But we're going to start this morning with Big Trouble in Little China. Did you ever see that movie?
Yes, I did. I even know the song.
Yeah, you got my reference.
You got
then.
Big Trouble.
Who sings that song?
In Little China. I have no idea.
If anyone can name who sings that song in the chat, let us know. Big Trouble in Little China. Is it Patrick Swayze? Kurt Russell.
It's Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell movie.
This is much bigger than Kurt Russell. This is what's happening in China as it relates to Evergrande. And it is really troubling this morning. Evergrande shares tumbled overnight after the sale of their services unit basically collapsed. Shares in Evergrande in China fell sharply as the company's stock resumed trading on Thursday. Of course, this comes after the real estate developer disclosed that it had a plan to sell its property services division. And guess what? That whole thing collapsed. So the share price has plummeted as a result.
And this was their Hail Mary. You might recall that they have too much debt. We only recently got wind that they were not going to be able to pay it and they are going to default. And economists are expecting that this will then implode the Chinese market because this debt it hinges on so many other pieces of the puzzle when it comes to the Chinese economy. Now, since Evergrande missed their first payment, Evergrande peers, including developer Fantasia and Cynic Holdings, have also defaulted on bonds worth $206 million and $246 million, respectively, while yields on riskier Chinese borrowers on Asian bond markets soared. So this is like all of these pieces are starting to crumble. And for those of us who don't closely follow the Chinese stock market, we're like, what's going on there? Yeah. We didn't know that it was built on such a house of cards. And now it seems that is absolutely the case. The Chinese government is under fire because it allowed Evergrande to make moves behind the scenes without updating shareholders. So they were saying, yes, we have a buyer for this piece. We're going to be fine. We will have the cash. Now they don't. They already have defaulted. They don't have the cash. So it's very worrying about what this means for a connected economy.
And who would want to pay for, $2.6 billion to buy this property services division? The thing is, once you actually start to get into this, it's scary. And it reminds me, folks, you might be saying, why do I care about China this morning? Look, it's all connected. Right? So what happens in your retirement account, what happens in the U.S. stock market, what happens with your job, what happens with the U.S. dollar, it's all tied to this. Mm-hmm. Remember what happened in 2008, folks, when we had the worst housing crisis we've ever seen in the United States. It brought down China, it brought down everybody because of what was happening with these homes that were being built. People didn't have jobs. They were getting these homes and they couldn't afford to pay the mortgages. And then all of these crappy mortgage bonds fell down and collapsed, and the entire housing market collapsed. But I have to say, this reminds me of out in like Stockton, California during the collapse in 2008, where you had like ghost towns. Mm-hmm. You had all these empty properties, these new construction properties. Take a look at this. This is what's going on right now. They're calling it like the Evergrande ghost towns. This video is really, really stunning. Take a look at this. This is just like empty structures. Oops, I hit the wrong one here. Oh yeah, here we go. These are like empty structures. All of these are Evergrande projects. These are building projects all over China. I'm talking thousands and thousands of subdivisions that they're building right now. They're just empty, not even nowhere near done. They have no money. And by the way, Chinese people have put down money to move into these properties.
Oh my goodness.
So they've made deposits. They've made tens of thousands of deposits for different Chinese people. And that's how you do it. You put down a deposit and then they build you your home. Well, guess what? They're not building your home. And now where is that money? It's gone. Look at these. This looks like, so once you start to peel this onion back, folks.
Oh my gosh. And think of the carbon footprint of these houses that will go nowhere.
Look at these people. And they're like kind of squatting. They're just kind of sneaking in and they're like sleeping on. Look at this. These are all, look, this roof's just like falling apart. They haven't even completed any of these. They're all vacant. And and the Chinese government really doesn't want the rest of the world to know about the mass of this problem, guys. But this is an absolute disaster.
And that must be one of the reasons why they allowed this company to start sort of crumbling behind the scenes. And now they're saying, oh, this is absolutely unacceptable. There should have been more disclosures before this, as if they didn't already know. Right. And Kristen in the chat says, well, hasn't the U.S. bailed them out yet? I mean, it's absolutely the opposite. They bail us out.
Right.
We borrow from China. How are we going to do that if they haven't imploded? Like, where would we go borrow if there was not China?
So think about all of the money that they've taken and that they simply just cannot pay back now. I mean, they've gotten billions of dollars they can't pay back. Mm-hmm. They're not building. This is all built on an idea that, hey, all of these properties in China, their values are just going to continue to rise. Well, guess what happens when suddenly that rug gets pulled out and these property values slightly started to decline? This is what we saw, a slight decline in property values.
Do you know that
this is the problem.
Do you know that you have to put 50% down on a property purchase in China?
Think about that. I didn't know that. Actually, maybe I did now that you rekindled my memory. But just think about all those poor people
that lost their 50% deposit.
Yeah.
In fact, I read an article, or I read a book once about borrowing in China. It said that like men who can buy their apartment are considered more eligible bachelors because it shows that they have been able to like secure a house. Because I mean, think about it. Someone who owns 50% of their apartment, you're like,
right.
Yeah, sure. This guy's not a bum, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is just a few days away, guys. I mean, they have like the company faces a deadline this weekend. So this weekend is like a very critical deadline for Evergrande, and this could spill over. It's already spilling over, right? Evergrande, as we've heard from experts, is just the tip of the iceberg in China. And there's other massive real estate developers who are probably almost as big as Evergrande, which are also defaulting on payments. So folks, how do you protect yourself right now? One thing I think you need to be aware of is, where is your money? Is it sitting in a bank? Because I'm telling you, banks right now are basically the numbers I was researching this morning. Banks have about 1% of actual currency, your money in the bank right now. Like if you were to go to the bank and say, I want to take out $10,000, you might be able to, but the person behind you in line may also get their money out, but the third person in line, no way. That money's not in that bank. It's just not going to be there, right? And so where is your money? Well, a lot of it is tied to Chinese assets, right, and interests. So if you've got your money in a U.S. bank right now, you may want to seriously consider moving it to other more stable assets like gold, Bitcoin, real estate, out of this banking system.
Well, it's funny because ahead of this news, the Chinese government has started to make these rumblings about, well, not rumblings, laws outline cryptocurrency, right? Mm-hmm. Because, and do you think these two things are linked to the fact that their currency is in trouble and they don't all of a sudden want a cryptocurrency to be an attractive option for people who are like, uh-oh, my money's in trouble in this economy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we absolutely know. I mean, they're communist, right? And they want to control their own, they don't, by having that have the ability to get crypto or Bitcoin in China, it completely undermines the Chinese yuan. China wants the yuan to be the world's default currency.
Yes.
Right. And they're sick and tired of it being the US dollar. And so I think you're also you're not going to get a lot of truth out of China about the severity of this, not just Evergrande, but all of the other real estate developers, as this economy in China looks like it's literally teetering on the brink of collapse.
Yes.
Heed these warnings, folks. Heed these warnings. This weekend, as I mentioned, Evergrande has a 30-day grace period. It expires on these interest payments. So they got a 30-day grace period to get some of those interest payments that they missed 30 days ago. Mm-hmm. That's up this weekend.
Now, I want to say, I don't know anything about buying new builds in China. So it's possible you don't have to put down a full 50% for something that's not built. I don't want to pretend I'm an expert on that, but right. I know for most existing home, the lending program in China is only up to 50%.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. I mean, in the U.S., what is it with the new build in the U.S. for something like that? Normally, you would do it at certain construction phases, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I'm not sure.
But nevertheless.
But it is nowhere near the, say, 20 or 30% that we're used to in the U.S.
So what about all these people, though, that made their initial deposit to buy a home?
But even at 10%, right? That's a big loss.
Especially for a country where most of the population just does not make enough money.
Yes.
Really, really troubling. So we'll keep our eye on the Evergrande crisis as that unfolds over the next few days. And I'll be watching it closely as we go into the weekend, because it's going to it could spill over into the U.S. economy. And we're looking at the Dow Jones hitting records. We're looking at the S&P 500 hitting records over the past few days. And you listen to these different investors and they're like, hey, it's sunny over here in America. Just wait until China collapses. Wait until you see what's going to happen on all of that. So we'll get to that and more. We have much more coming up on the show. We're going to talk about your stimulus update. A lot of movement overnight in Washington. We'll talk about that. What else do we have coming up?
Yes, we're going to talk about the supply chain and how that's going to affect your holiday.
Yeah.
And jobs numbers as well, and what's trending.
Yeah. But first, let's tell you about our show sponsor today, our friends over at Codecademy. I've been wanting. Have I been pushing our kids to learn how to code?
Oh, yes.
Code, right?
Yes.
So from a young age, I think this is obviously such an important language. We teach kids about French and other languages in school. What about coding? It is the future. And just think about companies right now like Apple. Facebook is hiring 10,000 people in Europe right now, right? Because they need coders. They need people that can write code, write games, all of this stuff. And there is literally a lack of this talent out there. And you want a high-paying career, learn to code. That's where Codecademy comes in, folks. They will teach you, help you build a career in coding. Learn everything you need to land the perfect job. Just go to their website. We've got it right here on the screen. Very, very simple to do. You can go there and sign up, and you can just start to go through their entire catalog. And you get to see wow, I could learn this stuff right from home, right from my own computer. There's never been a better time to be a programmer. You can learn to code in your own terms. So let me click on here. I can even go to the catalog here and look at all the different courses. You can learn how to write in Python, JavaScript. You can become a data scientist, all of these things.
These are great gifts. They won't be in the backlog of shipping.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yes.
Perfect experience gift.
This is a very good experience gift for someone in your family, right? And something that they'll actually improve themselves with. And it's not just a piece of garbage coming from China. It's a really good gift. You can get qualified for in-demand jobs in as little as 2 months. You can learn at your own pace, your own level. You can choose what to learn, from building websites to analyzing data, everything else you could want, no matter what your experience level. Simply put, Codecademy is the best way to learn to code online. They not only teach you job-ready coding skills, but also help you build unique projects for your portfolio. You can earn certificates and even prep for technical interviews. You're going to get 15% off. That's a good treat if you use our code. So all you need to do is use the promo code INVEST when you go to Codecademy. There's no A. It's not like Academy. It's Codecademy. So it's Codecademy. That's codecademy.com. Use the promo code INVEST. Join the millions of people learning to code with Codecademy and see where coding can take you. Get 15% off your Codecademy Pro membership when you go to codecademy.com and use promo code INVEST. Again, that is promo code INVEST. Our thanks to Codecademy for making us all smarter and helping people get better jobs out there.
Well, now on to your stimulus update. The president has admitted that in negotiations for his social spending package, the paid family leave plan has been reduced from 12 weeks to 4 weeks. Now, progressives are mad as snakes about it, and rightly so. The U.S. is one of the countries with the least generous paid family leave act for the birth of a new...
That's putting it very nicely.
They are stingy.
Yeah.
And it's really not okay.
No, look at this. So you want to say Natalie's very kind, if you didn't know. She always errs on the side of saying something nice.
Yes. Yeah. Thanks for saying that.
Natalie always says the right thing, says nice things, but she was saying nice things about the fact that America is really awful when it comes to paid family leave. And so this was a big part of Bernie Sanders' push to make sure that we have paid family leave as part of this infrastructure stimulus, the human infrastructure stimulus, right?
And they were only asking for 12 weeks. That's not a lot. That's 3 months.
3 months.
3 months for a tiny baby.
So let's see how America stacks up here. You want to see how America stacks up? You know, yeah, Natalie was being nice, right? So U.S. ranks. Let's see where the U.S. ranks. Let's start at the top here. In government mandated paid leave for new parents. Again, paid family leave now being slashed by moderate Democrats, Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema. So let's start at the top. Estonia has 86 weeks. Okay, Bulgaria, Hungary, Japan, Lithuania.
And in fact, in Japan, almost 50% of that paid parental leave goes to the paternal member of the parents. So Japan says you can split it up to 50-50. So men get it too.
Wow. Norway, Slovenia, Germany, Czech Republic, Finland, Sweden, Luxembourg, Croatia, Poland, Korea, Portugal, Chile, Denmark, Iceland, Canada, Italy, France, Greece, Spain, Belgium, Costa Rica, Netherlands, Malta, Cyprus, Israel, Mexico, United Kingdom, Turkey. By the way, Turkey today has been downgraded in the EU. So like Turkey has all kinds of problems, but they still have paid family leave.
Turkey's not in the EU. What do you mean?
What? Since when? Did that just happen?
Turkey?
Turkey. Isn't Turkey in the EU?
No. What?
On the ECB. What did I...
They've been consistently denied entry to the EU for all kinds of reasons.
I'm thinking of ECB. Today, anyway, they got downgraded today to gray. They got downgraded today. You'll do some digging on there, but you're...
Okay.
You're right. Okay. Australia, New Zealand, Switzerland, Ireland. Look at this. How does the U.S. stack up?
0.
Look at that.
Yeah, that's not generous at all.
Congratulations.
I said they're the least generous. I meant no generous.
Yeah, they're no generous. These guys are no generous. Let's give it up for America. No, let's not.
Yeah, that sucks. And so now progressives are saying this is a non-starter. We want this back in. We want it back in right now. The White House has not responded to comments, but they did confirm that they are moving this down to 4 weeks. So now that this bar chart here that has Ireland with how many weeks? I can't really tell.
Well, look at 20. You see 20
right.
here? 20
so it's
weeks.
Not even half of that.
Right.
But even if we put a bar for 4 weeks on there, it looks like it wouldn't go very far on this
It'd be
chart.
like right
it would
here.
Still be dead last.
Yeah, it'd be like right here.
So 0 to 4 is something, right? Maybe the next president can get us even closer. But I mean, this is a sham. You know, how formative the first few weeks of life are for a baby, how formative they are for you as a family. You think of the things that you learn about how you parent together. You know, this is when the child's eyes are first opening. You know, babies, they learn from eye contact because obviously they don't understand language. They learn from the tone of your voice, which is something that they hear in utero. And even if it's an adopted child, they learn like the pheromones of the parent, right? These are formative times that a child starts to pick up on cues, nonverbal cues that say, I am safe. They need your smell, right? I mean, don't even get me started about nursing moms going back to work. They need your eye contact. You know, humans are one of the only primates that have the whites of our eyes visible so that babies know to follow your gaze. So like if I look at the baby and I'm like, look at the ball, honey, right? They follow. Other primates can't do that. We need this non-verbal communication. You need time with a small baby in order to be set up for success to raise that baby. And when you don't have that, it has a lasting effect, a lasting developmental effect, not to mention just the stress, needing to sleep, right? Needing the extra time.
It's awful. I mean, so here I marked up the chart. So you wanted to put a bar there on the chart. So here we go.
Okay, thank you.
That's where the U.S. would come in. You know. By the way, David, I flipped off your mix minus. So people are like, "Where's David's voice? I can't hear him." Well, David has an echo, and we're fixing it this weekend. So, but I anyway, yeah.
But he's mad as snakes too.
Yeah,
he's all for pain.
I am. I mean, and the thing is, it's so sad. Is like, this is only one of many lists that we're at the bottom of.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Like, yeah, exactly. I mean, just look at this. I mean, this is where, Bernie Sanders says ranks dead last on child care spending. Look at that. Like child care spending, $500 per child.
And then look at Norway at the top, right? Norway, Denmark. These are the countries with like the highest happiness reportings.
Right.
When you ask who is satisfied with life, well, yeah, you don't have to raise a baby by yourself.
Yeah.
Of course they're happy.
Dan Price says, America is one of 2 countries without paid parental leave. The government spends $500 per kid on per kid on childcare versus $14,000 worldwide. And we wonder why 10 million jobs are open. Can't go to work when you have to stay home with kids because daycare is another rent check. Bingo.
How does he calculate this $500 per kid on childcare? Because I don't think the government spends anything on childcare. And another thing that the Biden administration mentioned was that it's possible that we might do 4 weeks, but only for low-income families who need it.
Great.
Could that
Every
be
baby needs it.
Could that be factoring in the child credit, tax credit?
I mean, that's now monthly, but I don't know. I'm not sure.
Unbelievable. I mean, this isn't the only piece of this. We've also got Democrats, progressives right now who are saying, okay, we're going to fight back on this. Good. Hallelujah. Are you going to be able to pull that off, though? Like, are you going to be able to actually fight back and get anything? So far, you haven't been able to do garbage, right? So progressives are saying, look, this is a bridge too far. And we ran the numbers this morning. Right now, if they're starting to slash this stuff, guys, it's about 60%. 60% of Biden's $3.5 trillion stimulus plan is now slashed. 60%. We've gotten rid of the environment, the climate piece, the electric car. Screw that. Free college. We got rid of that yesterday. Free community college. We got rid of that.
Off the list.
What else? So we got rid of paid family leave. Screw that, because we're doing so well already at zero in the
world.
Plans for electric buses, plans for utility companies to move to clean energy.
Right.
Screw all that stuff. We don't need that.
Yeah. How about Medicare, right? Vision, dental, hearing, screw that, right? We don't need that stuff, I guess. Joe Manchin, thanks.
I guess we're doing just fine without it.
And finally, we also learned this morning, too. Well, first of all, I want to get to this progressive piece on the paid family leave, and then we'll get to Kirsten Sinema's position on some other thing that they're about to slash. But let's look at this. So progressives are pushing back on this decision to shrink Biden's paid family leave program. We'll see. Thank you, The Hill. So they're trying to say we want to get this into the budget reconciliation process. A group of 15 Senate Democrats led by Senator Kirsten Gillibrand right there on Wednesday sent a letter to Biden and Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi urging them to include a more robust family and medical paid leave program. Also, Meghan Markle sent a letter to the White House.
Don't step on my trending news.
Well, no. Oh, I didn't know that was. We urge you to include a national paid leave program that is meaningful, comprehensive, and permanent in the Build Back Better Act. It must be universal to cover all workers, provide progressive wage replacement to help the lowest wage earners, and cover all existing types of leave with parity, the senators wrote. And these are the people that signed on to support it. You can see the name of different senators here who are supporting this.
Meanwhile, Republicans sent a letter back to the president and said, you know what, we don't even really want to discuss social spending until the supply chain is up and running. We're more concerned now with the supply chain. We don't think we need to discuss these social programs at all.
Right.
Why do you think that is? Because it's embarrassing to say no to paid family leave, right? Or because there's no way to talk around that and say, yeah, I'm just not for babies smelling their father and who would say that? And so now they're saying, no, we need to first fix it. But what are they going to do about the supply chain?
Right.
What can they really do?
Yeah, so Mitch McConnell and 160 Republicans sent a letter saying, don't do anything on budget reconciliation.
We're not into that right now.
Until we get the supply chain issue fixed.
Meanwhile, we're going to talk more about the supply chain in a bit, but if that's just not a look over there, we don't want to discuss this while we slowly take away the things that will improve quality of life for our citizens.
One of those things that could improve the quality of life is adding some additional business taxes that would actually tax businesses that are paying nothing in taxes, perhaps. Kirsten Sinema is now stymieing this position. It's almost like Kirsten and Joe got together, Joe Manchin, Kirsten Sinema, and they were like, okay, I'll take the taxes piece, Joe. We'll make sure that Democrats don't raise taxes at all. And Joe, why don't you take the stuff that's like on the environment and
the quality of life stuff.
Quality of life.
He's her work husband.
Right. We'll get together on this issue and go and tackle these issues together. So we'll basically not do what the American people want. Overwhelmingly, by the way, American people want an increase in taxes on the wealthy. Overwhelmingly, in the most recent Gallup poll that just came out this week. So she is now pushing.
They're trying to throw that in with the $600, tracking.
That is part of the tax bill. Right. The $600 tracking is part of President Biden's tax proposal, which has not gone very far because there's so many other fights right now. For that, I say that's probably good because that one needs to go back to the drawing board because it is a tax plan that really punishes small business.
Right.
But, okay, please continue.
Jonathan Stewart in our chat says, what's being gained by dropping all of this good stuff? Well, again, lobbyists. Look right here in the text, Jonathan. Senator Kirsten Sinema previously told lobbyists that she is opposed to any increase in those rates. So for her, it's continuing to make money from these lobbyists that continue to funnel money to their campaigns. Mm-hmm. That's, again, follow the money, right? Follow the money in all of this.
Well, Joe Manchin specifically is heavily donated to by the coal industry. Mm-hmm. The coal industry does not want to move to clean energy because they're not that. And so he's promised them that he will fight back against this electric vehicle and alternative clean energy push. And it's just so short-sighted because what happens when there is no more coal? What happens when, you're playing you're playing a game of chicken with the environment that's clearly telling you I can't sustain this.
Right. We saw this report yesterday. We talked, I don't know, did we talk about it here on the show? I don't think we did. But the report that came out from scientists that says we have now conclusive evidence. 99.9% that climate change is human made.
Yes.
So we can put this discussion to bed now. Is it human made? Is it not?
Right. But still 26% of Americans refuse to believe it. No, it's always been hot. It was hot when I was a kid. Yes, that was in the newsletter. I hope you are a subscriber.
Yes.
It's morninginvest.com. And I believe that kicked off Monday's newsletter. Tuesdays.
One of the days.
One of the days. But
if anyone can tell us in the chat which day it was, that would be we'll give you a bonus.
I'm pretty sure it was Tuesday.
I need to make a correction because I was wrong on something that I didn't think about. I said that we were last in every list, and I totally forgot that we are number 1 in incarcerated citizens.
Oh, right. Exactly.
So we're at the top of one list at least.
That's good.
We're also the fattest country in the world.
Is that still true? I thought Mexico took that one for a bit.
We go back and forth with Mexico.
Okay.
We kind of duke it out for fattest country in the world.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Let's give it up for the United States.
Come on, everybody. Everybody, we need to start eating. We can't let Mexico win this one.
Yeah, we can. Come on, let's get that diabetes. Let's do our part. Do our part. Go buy some processed food this afternoon and see what you can do.
If you can find it.
I want to talk about Joe Manchin. So this was a pretty bombshell. This was a big bombshell story yesterday. And I have to, I want to kind of dig through where this came from. David Korn, who is a good, really good journalist over at Mother Jones. He's been covering Washington for many, many years. Is David Korn. He's definitely a partisan journalist. He's definitely a liberal journalist. But they got a scoop over at Mother Jones where Joe Manchin has told associates that he's considering leaving the Democratic Party. And that he has an exit plan for leaving the Democratic Party. So, this is a pretty big story.
And going where?
To the Republican Party. He would leave the Democratic Party and go to the Republican Party, which is crazy. In recent days, Manchin has told the associates that he's considering leaving the Democratic Party if Joe Biden and Democrats on Capitol Hill don't agree to his demand to cut the $3.5 trillion stimulus plan down to 1.75. He said he's leaving. I'm done. if this happens, according to people who've heard Manchin discuss this. Manchin said that if this were to happen, he would declare himself, he would declare himself an American independent.
Okay.
An American independent.
So not necessarily the Republican.
That is like me being in my house and be like, you know what? I'm going to start sitting on the other side of the couch now. I'm still on the same couch.
Right.
You know?
What's going to change? The only thing that would change is honestly that Democrats wouldn't have the vote, right, in the Senate.
But he's already not voting with them.
Exactly. But that's David's point, right? It doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to change. You know, again, nothing's going to change at all. And it doesn't make any sense.
Nothing does.
Exactly.
That's crazy talk. Why doesn't he do the third party thing? Let's see what happens there.
I mean, it is crazy talk. Let's. I fixed the audio. So he was confronted about this yesterday. Reporters ran up to him once this story broke in Mother Jones. He had some choice words. If you've got any kids in the room, there's going to be some swearing in this. This is how Joe Manchin. That's my little warning. If you've got any kids, you want to cover their ears. But this is Senator Joe Manchin answering the question from Manju Raju from CNN, a reporter who asked him the question. This report just came out in Mother Jones, and how do you respond?
I can't control rumors, and it's bullshit. Bullshit spelled with a B-U-L-L capital B.
I asked you, but
Okay, well, he says no to that. So
yeah, all right.
I can't control rumors, and it's bullshit. Bullshit spelled with a B-U-L-L capital B.
Can I start saying that word?
No. I mean, this is the news, so I played it, but normally I don't like to, But anyway, yeah. Okay. So he says, no, this is not. So why is this? I always want to unpack these types of stories, right? Like, why are we hearing about this? And I think this is to basically screw with him. There, someone in the White House maybe leaked this story, pushed it out there to try to get, liberal journalists to write about this, to kind of twist the knife a little bit.
Because it shows like, hey, you're not a party guy. You're not falling in line.
Well, he knows that this stuff comes from somewhere, right? And so now then the press jumps on this story. Then all the press is asking him about it. He's already, been painted as this bad guy. And let's be honest, he is. He's corrupt, taking millions of dollars from fossil fuel companies and doing what lobbyists want and screwing over the people of West Virginia. Yeah, that's corruption in my opinion. And when you're also paying for your family, you're giving money to your family members. I mean, let's give me a break to have cushy coal jobs. So I don't know. I guess he hopes that this would send a signal. That's what the reports are from Mother Jones, that he hopes that Manchin had hoped that by saying this, it would send a signal. I think if anything, it's backfired. And who knows how much truth there is to it. He says, don't believe these rumors. Don't believe these rumors at all.
All right. Well, we're going to go on and talk about the supply chain some more. That's something we've been doing a lot lately. But first, we want to tell you about our show sponsor, ScoreMaster. Now, did you know that having a low credit score can cost you thousands of dollars in the life of any loan that you want to get, whether that be for a car, for a truck, for an electric car, for a house, whatever it is you want to become a borrower on, you will always do better if you have the best credit score possible. Now, fixing your credit score by yourself is a nightmare. It's terrible. It's worse than going to the dentist. But you can get help with ScoreMaster. They can take your credit score and make it from just okay to great. The average user adds 61 points with ScoreMaster's help in just 20 days. With recent COVID surges, they are able to keep interest rates low for now, but that's no guarantee. We've already seen those interest rates start to tick up. So make sure that your score is as good as it can be. Keep on top of that with credit score. Before you apply, visit Score for any loan. Before you even think about applying for a loan, visit scoremaster.com and add points to your credit score fast. Then you maintain your credit score. Remember, now this is free. We don't pay for this anymore. We used to. That is one thing that Congress did, is give us free credit reports, right? It used to be that they could charge you for this. Now they cannot. So you can keep yourself an account on scoremaster.com scoremaster.com and just monitor your credit score 24/7. And it only takes minutes to enroll, see your points, get more points, and qualify for the lowest rates out there. Visit scoremaster.com/invest. That's scoremaster.com/invest and get started today.
Yes, thank you to Scoremaster. So many of you have taken advantage of this and have seen dramatic improvements.
Yeah, it's great because a lot of times things on your credit score are such bull honky. Not like Joe Manchin's word, but just bull honky, right? Clayton had closed an account and they, for instance, they put a $1.99 fee on that Citibank card after it closed and we didn't get the notice. And so on his credit score, there was a $1.99 outstanding like non-paid bill.
Right.
And we paid it later and we disputed it and we got that taken off his score. Those kind of things, they're really worth taking the time to do, and it's worth having the right people to do it because we tried that ourselves and that didn't work.
No, it doesn't work when you're trying to call the credit bureaus and do all that garbage.
Yeah.
And that's not going to work.
Yeah.
It's not going to work. So our thanks to Scoremaster for supporting the show. They've been a long-time sponsor, so please go and support them. You help support our show. Where the heck is Grover, man? He's been like...
I heard him talking bull to the neighbor dog.
Grover, where are you, man? I don't know. Where he is.
He's here, though. I've heard him around. Sorry, guys. He's a no-show. He's really pissed off about this paternity leave thing, and... Yeah. He can't handle it.
He can't handle the truth.
So let's talk now about the supply chain issue. I was really interested in this new survey that came out that said the average person is going to spend about $100 on their pet for Christmas. We're going to talk about all the things that are in low supply, but I, for one, can say I've never actually set a budget for pet spending. I guess I should.
And I think you'll be well, maybe not. You won't be surprised. The other day I did a little pet spending spree for Grover.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Online. And
is it another poofy? He loves
No. It's something he needs, but I'll just wait and surprise you with it. But,
okay.
You know, it was like an impulse purchase. Like, David, how much do you spend on pizza? Pizza is David's dog, by the way. Are you constantly buying her stuff?
Yes, I just bought her. And the funny thing is, like, her treats that I get are $75 a bag. That'll last a month. But it's just a healthy, like, they're the bull sticks that I told you about. Yeah, bully sticks. And she loves them. They keep her occupied for hours. So it's worth it for me, and it's good for her. Yeah. But yeah, I spend like $50 on her food. Like, I just don't want to give my dog crap. You know what I mean?
Of course. All of those pet food all of that pet food that was recalled for like arsenic and stuff. Like, you can't be too careful what you're feeding your pets and your children.
All the chicken byproducts and stuff that are in it. There's a lot of, if you don't know what you're doing when you buy dog food, there's a lot of crap in that.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's not regulated like human food.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people, I mean, as we look at this supply chain issue right now, so a lot of people are budgeting for their pet. And what other issues? I mean, we're seeing, you talked about this survey, but also like worldwide right now.
Right.
Like we have this, was it from Bloomberg that put together the shortages list?
So the BBC put together an article this morning talking about the different things that are different products that are short around the world, in countries around the world. For instance, coffee in Brazil, and also drinking water. Coal and paper
in China. So we can go down this list here.
Okay, let's just go down the list.
China has a shortage of coal, which, by the way, is amazing, right? Because it's a pretty, like, they use a lot of coal there.
Yes,
and they
but
pull
they have
a lot of coal
people
out of the ground too, right? And so I just want you to think about the China issue, right? We talked about Evergrande earlier in the show, and the real estate issue that's going to hit that market and is already hitting that market. Then on top of that, you have heating and, coal for the winter, paper shortages. They're saying it's a perfect storm in China. And
food. Like, that's not good. They have a lot of mouths to feed.
Right.
Okay. In the U.S., it makes me feel so dirty that they lead with toys. Like, we did a study recently that said that the U.S. has like 60% of toys are in U.S. homes.
Jeez.
I mean, whereas the U.S. only has like, 20% of the world's population, or not even that. So that I shed no tears for a shortage of toys. toilet paper, like, okay, there are options. You could use a sink, use a bidet or whatever. But an expert.
Speaking of butts, or you could just, take a shower. I don't know. Do you really need to like hoard toilet paper? I mean, that's what people are doing. So no wonder we have a shortage of it. People are running to Costco and buying up all that's available.
Yeah. And they're buying 2-ply, which means there's not another ply to share with another family, right?
You gotta have
doubles.
It's like we're a country of Dudley Doosley or Dudley. What was the last name?
Dursley. Yeah.
Yeah.
You just need I don't know.
I just need more, Mommy. I need
seems
more.
kind of piggish, but experts are saying, we have a quote in the newsletter today for expert in propane saying that propane is going to be so short and so expensive this winter, and it's going to be cold, that we are expecting an Armageddon of
what is that?
That means people are going to freeze in their homes or have like $3,000 heating bills. It's going to be bad, guys. I hope that you save on those pet toys and have a little bit of money to heat your home or buy good pajamas and stay in them.
Yeah. Or get your cheap Halloween stuff, That's crazy. So,
okay, let's continue down the list.
Yeah.
U.S. is short on toy. India, cars and computer chips. Well, we know that a lot of our computer chips come out of India, and so they have not been able to do that. They are also low in car manufacturing. Did I already do Brazil?
I'm going to get rid of all this garbage here. Sorry.
Okay.
Brazil, coffee and water. How does Brazil have a shortage of coffee?
Actually, because they destroy the rainforest to instead grow palm oil.
Palm oil, right, which is awful.
And shipping has not been working great for them either. And crops were low this year because of natural disasters. So it's a perfect storm for all of that.
Awful.
Yeah.
Cooking gas.
Cooking gas in Nigeria, yes. And so a new study out by Deloitte shows that due to these high prices and supply chain issues, 11.5% of consumers are planning to spend zero on the holidays. Not that one. Not that one.
Here, this one?
This one. I'm sorry. I had all these charts that I studied today,
1,
and
2,
I don't
and 3.
think.
Do you know which one you labeled? Here, holiday shopping. This is holiday shopping.
Okay. There was another chart that I suppose I didn't screenshot for you guys. I'm sorry. We'll put it in the newsletter tomorrow. That showed that last year there was only 4.9% of people saying they plan to spend zero this holiday season. Now 11.9%. So that's over 10% of the population is opting out of the holiday season. And it's not because it doesn't seem that they're like, well, okay, I don't need to celebrate the holidays because I have a different faith. No, it's people who otherwise would, who are saying, we're just going to skip it. It's too expensive. And I want to pay my heat bill.
Right.
And so they're deciding not to. Now, the average family will spend $1,463. That is the chart. Thank you.
Okay.
This holiday season. And that is still up by 5% from last year. You notice last year the number was 1,387. So that number is up, but it's such a big disparity between the haves and the have-nots, right? And so you'll see that while more people than ever can spend zero, the rest of us can spend more. And what are we spending it on? So the chart number 3.
Okay.
That one.
Stephen Hall in our chat says, damn it, Clayton, just give her the mouse. No.
I don't want it.
No.
I gotta
control it. It's just like having a remote control for the television. Don't ever give it to your wife. Huge
plus
mistake.
you'd have to slide the laptop over and
Yeah, no, it's not going to happen. This mouse is staying with me.
Okay. I'll fight. I will not fight you for it.
I will find you, Laura.
That one. Okay, here are the things that people are going to spend on this holiday season. Clothing and accessories is by far the biggest one. Electronics, gift cards, also experience gifts are back up. People are going to travel this year. I'm big on the experience gifts. I love experience gifts. I do not like the
Don't get her started on this.
Yeah, okay, don't. But go back to the chart and we'll talk about health and wellness and pets. So most people spend about $107 or plan to on the pets this year. It's a very specific number. That's up $5 from last year, $107.
Like speaking, Kirsten Swenson in the Kristen Swenson, sorry, Kirsten, I'm saying like Kirsten Cinema. Kristen Swenson says, "Let's hope people truly spend less for the holidays. It's frivolous."
I am with you 5,000%. I feel like Christmas is motherhood on steroids. All the like things I have to cook and people I have to, buy gifts for. Like, it is a lot. I'm with you. It's super wasteful. And I am always saying I'm going to do less, and I never do. And so maybe this is like,
we have done
this
less.
will tamper us down a little bit.
But I think the experience gifts thing is a really thing. We were talking last night about like our nephews and nieces, right? Mm-hmm. Like, we're not just going to send them random crap from China, like on Amazon. Like, we'd like to do like experience gifts or something more that they can do as a family or enjoy together and have that memory.
Like, go take a tap class or whatever it is you want.
Right.
I haven't
go to the
celebrated
movies
Christmas
with grandma.
in like 20 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're recovering Christmas.
Yeah, generally we just do we'll get together before, so it's not like you're traveling on the day of and have dinner and do stuff like that and have fun. But then we never get together for Christmas. I usually end up sitting around eating Chinese food and watching movies.
Oh, I remember that last year. Yeah, you went and got Chinese food. Yeah.
Yep.
And you are not Jewish. It's
No.
not because of your faith or any other.
We celebrate
non-Christian.
Festivus.
Yes,
so
I actually have myself in front of a Festivus in Tallahassee, Florida. Bunch of stacked beer cans.
Yeah, but see, this is my point, is like, I wish that people would just be less wasteful because they have to be, but it doesn't end up working that way. So I am going to put my head down and try and do my part this year. What's also big is these reusable gift bags where people just buy a bunch of those cloth bags and give gifts in that. So you're not using single-use wrapping paper. That's all over the Pinterest.
I'm struck by some of these supply chain shortages, though, as it relates to water law. I mean, some of these countries, we think how lucky we have it, but like water shortages. But in the United States, remember Kamala Harris saying the next war will not be fought over oil, it'll be fought over water?
Yes.
So you see Lebanon can't get enough water. What else? India didn't have enough water. Like Brazil didn't have enough water. And, well, by the way, Lebanon can't even get medicines, and yet Pfizer can continue to make sure that it's got the profits coming out the wazoo. We can't send them medicines to make sure that their people are taken care of and helped out. Instead, by the way, I don't know if you saw this the other day, we threw out a whole bunch of COVID vaccines in the trash. We just literally, because we couldn't.
We did that?
Yeah, the United States did that.
Oh, not on our house.
No, I didn't have I kept my big stash of COVID vaccines. I didn't throw those in the trash. And I just randomly like to give booster shots to myself on a daily.
It's like
in the morning.
Like a bioterrorist. You could just walk down the street.
Just randomly go up and do that to people. And people are like, "Ooh, what was that? Like, was that a vaccine? Okay, great.
Thanks.
No problem."
Oh, it's okay. He's from America.
Right. He's American. America.
Are
Anyway.
any of those lists due to sanctions? Or does it have nothing to do with sanctions? Our sanctions?
Nothing to do with sanctions. They're pandemic related. For instance, like Lebanon, as an example.
That's why I was asking, because I figured we probably
fuel
had sanctions
shortages.
on Lebanon.
Fuel shortages have led to frequent electricity outages, leaving businesses and families relying on expensive private electricity, diesel generators, if they can afford it. Humanitarian UN says that they were deeply concerned about the impact of the fuel crisis to access on healthcare, water supply for millions of people in Lebanon. So nothing related to any kind of sanctions there. But yeah, it certainly impacts. We always throw the sanctions on people, in Iran or other places. And what does that do? It hurts the people of Iran.
Yeah.
Doesn't actually stop what we're meaning to try to stop in the end.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's the very latest on the supply chain issue. So we'll keep our eye on that. While you ready things for trending, I want to take a look at. I want to get some numbers up here on these
For the jobs report?
Yes.
Okay. Do you want me to stretch while I
Actually,
get
I'm going to do this. I'm going to take. Oh, there's Grover. Can you handle that?
Yes,
and
I can.
I will get the jobs numbers up here. Because we do have the new jobs, the new labor numbers, and get these new labor numbers here. Let me do this. Let me do that. Anybody in the chat?
Yes, there's about 3,000 people in the chat.
Sorry, I didn't mean to. There's Grover. Finally, when the doorbell rings. Okay, we had the jobless claims. So this is what I wanted to get to, the jobless claims, which fall again. Again, this is good. Overall, this is what we expected to see as the pandemic benefits have faded away. So these numbers just coming out just a few moments ago. This was down 6,000 from the previous week, below the 300,000 that the Dow Jones had estimated. So that's these continuing claims also dropped to a new pandemic low, falling to 2.48 million. And first-time filings for jobless claims totaled 290,000 for the week ending October 16th. So here's a look at the chart. You can see they've been looking for about 300,000. So this was the second week in a row that claims ran below the 300,000 level for unemployment insurance, claims for unemployment insurance. What you need to remember, of course, folks, with these numbers is that, well, so many people have just stopped looking. So many people have just stopped looking for jobs. So
well, and when they say that it ran out for people,
yeah,
like when they're saying that the unemployment ran out for people, does that affect them being able to even apply? So wouldn't that naturally bring it down as well?
Right, but if they're not in the labor market, like they've literally left the labor market, then those numbers don't take into account people that have left.
Right.
And so we have a labor crisis in the United States, right? So we can look at these numbers and say, okay, the Labor Department here, this is maybe a good sign that it's compiling, to watch these non-farm payrolls and see if, okay, are people just going back to work? Are they just not relying on unemployment anymore? People are just leaving the job force altogether. And I think that that's been missed in this number. At least I hope that people understand that at least. Taken together, the numbers show that the U.S. is edging closer to its pre-pandemic normal level when it comes to the labor market. But there's still massive distance to cover because we still don't have all of these people who left the job market trying to get back into the job market. They're just saying, we're going to do something else. We're going to try to figure it out.
I mean,
and they're not collecting unemployment benefits.
I don't know if you looked at that chart that I showed you. I sent you a chart in text the other day that showed you how much wealth the billionaires have amassed during this pandemic.
Right.
And it's like, people are the jig is up. People are like, hey, look, you're paying crap wages. Why am I going to go back? Why am I going to go back and suffer?
Right.
And they're trying to find different ways.
Today in the stock market, we had this in the newsletter. I don't know if you saw it this morning or not. Natalie will be back in a second. She's dealing with Grover and something at the door. But today in the newsletter, we had it as one of our top stories was talking about in the stock market, the overwhelming amount of wealth that's generated and owned in the stock market is, I think it's the top 82% of wealth in the stock market is owned by just the wealthiest Americans. Like it's just a small group of people. Like all of the stock market is owned by just a few people.
And you know what's crazy about that too? Is like during this whole Robinhood thing with the GameStop stock, that just showed you like they want to keep that control too, because as soon as the little guy started to make a little bit of money, they changed things.
Right.
So that's all by design.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. People, and that's the thing, people could take some of this little bit of extra money, unemployment money that they got, they could invest it, they could put it in crypto. People started businesses. We have a bunch of people watching this show right now. Drop me a comment in the chat if you are one of those people that used some of that money or some of the stimulus or unemployment money to start a business, start an at-home business where you don't have to drive 2 hours and work for somebody else anymore. You could actually work from home and actually make some money and start to invest in yourself. I'd be curious how many people in the chat did that. I want to bring up that chart. I know
somebody who took the time because they were off, invested the money, and wrote a book.
Really?
Yeah.
That's great.
I don't know how the book's going to do, but at least they did it,
Yeah. Here was this thread on Reddit. Let me pull this up here. This is from, look at this. This is crazy. So this is the net worth and how the net worth grew during the pandemic for the top 20 billionaires. Look at that.
During
Look at Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, Larry Ellison of Oracle, Larry Page, Google, Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook, Sergey Brin, Google, Warren Buffett, Steve Ballmer, Jim Walton, Walmart family, Alice Walton, Walmart family, Rob Walton, Walmart family, Michael Bloomberg, Phil Knight, Mackenzie Scott, Michael Dell, Charles Koch brothers.
Can you scroll up a little bit on that?
I can't.
Oh, okay.
I can't. It's
That's all good.
unfortunately, I could just do it this way. But yeah, look at this.
Wow.
So again, yeah, that March of 2020 is the red. October 2021. You can just see how much that it's grown since then.
Now,
Look
can
at
you
Elon.
show where's the
Just-
graph that shows the amassed wealth of the middle class? Can you show that one really quick?
Let me see if I have that. No, I don't have that.
Oh, that's right. They freaked out when they thought that somebody was going to put some of their stimulus into their savings. That justified them not giving it to them.
Right.
That's right.
Right. Yeah.
Thanks to you people who put your stimulus in savings and started businesses. Thank you. Because that just made it so, the rest of us couldn't get any more. I never got any of it anyway.
You never got any stimulus or
No.
any? Yeah. I mean, these numbers are pretty remarkable. Again, so if you're just joining us, what we just saw in the housing numbers is a continuing decline in jobless claims. So people saying, I'm going to take unemployment because I'm leaving a job. So those numbers have gone down. That's the second week in a row that we've seen that now. But what you're missing in all of that, of course, is that most people, like the people that were really focused on these statistics, have just completely left the job market. So they're not going to be counted in these statistics at all. So I think most people that wanted to leave their jobs have pretty much left their jobs at this point. I don't know. We're seeing thousands of people striking across the United States. We're seeing obviously the breaking point for labor in this country, and these workers who are saying we've had enough.
Well,
enough is enough.
You're seeing people protesting and striking on this show. You're not seeing it on the mainstream media at all.
Right. No. Yeah, they're not covering the story. To ABC's credit, they did cover the John Deere story, and CBS Morning News also covered the John Deere strike. But that's because I think it's so large.
Yeah, I was going to say at a certain point they get so big, I don't think they can not cover it.
They just can't ignore it anymore. But the Frito-Lay strike, Kim Kelly, who's writing a book on this, she's been a journalist. She's been out in the front lines at a lot of these. She's been at a lot of these different strikes and protests, and she's been covering this independently. She's an independent journalist, and she's just shocked at how the mainstream media just ignores what's happening to these workers. They just ignore it. They don't cover it. They don't put it on their air. That's someone says, like Robin says, we need a general strike. It's the only way we'll be heard. Yeah, I would love to see that.
If both sides of the aisle would unite, if we would actually unite as a people behind a common cause, we could fix this. We literally could. If we all went to Washington, not to Wall Street, not to these other little places. If we went to the root of the problem, and we all went there together, we could fix it. But that'll never happen. It feels like it's by design that we're kept divided.
Right. All right. So Natalie's back. We just had the jobless claims down. You okay? I was worried you weren't coming back.
I came back, messed up my barrette hairdo, running down there, but here I am.
All right. So you need to catch your breath.
Yes, I do. Excuse me.
8 flights of steps. 8 flights of steps to get back here.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, the jobless numbers just came out a few minutes ago, and it shows a decline in the people that are filing for unemployment benefits, which is, you say, hey, that's great. But of course, as I pointed out, it does not account for all of the many millions of people who have just left the job market altogether. They're not taken into those statistics. So on the surface, it seems like, oh, that's not bad. Hey, that's pretty good. And it's not actually that good.
Well, it's good for Republicans who want to stop spending money on unemployment benefits. So, or anybody. I mean, I shouldn't have said that. I said that as that was a biased thing that I said.
We also just got the home numbers as well.
Oh, okay.
So we were waiting for these home numbers, and they just came out just moments ago as well. So sales of existing homes rose in September. Wow. Which is likely due to that brief decline in mortgage rates. Yeah, the mortgage rates today are actually pretty low. This morning they dipped back below 3% for a 30-year fixed mortgage, so down at 2.96% for a 30-year fixed. 30-year fixed mortgage at 2.9%? Jeez Louise.
I would do the happy dance for that, for sure.
First-time home buyers made up just 28% of sales. This is the number that I'm most interested in. What that means is first-time home buyers are being priced out of the market, and they're continuing to be squeezed. Mm-hmm. They can't afford these homes. That number is continuing to decline. So who's buying homes? Well,
old people.
Yeah, old people. There's a battle now right now between boomers and millennials as to who's older
I should
people.
Say.
And also Wall Street. Wall Street is buying up these properties.
Yes.
Buying up these properties. Who's losing? First-time home buyers are losing. That's who's losing.
The kids.
What's that? Yeah, first-time home buyers are losing.
There he is.
There he is, finally, little yipper. Okay.
He was up to stuff. All right, shall I tell you what's trending?
Yeah, what's trending today?
This is a segment where we tell you what's going on in the internet so you can participate however you see fit. What's trending on Twitter and Facebook and Google. First off, Matt Gaetz is trending because he spoke to the House Rules Commission about the January 6th riot investigation. It was a long oration of nonsense. The chair, Representative Jamie Raskin, was not having it. And he is basically being called out on Twitter for his sort of candid, I'm not having this dad speech, which was, it's always fun to see someone like just sort of smack down another person verbally. Oddly enough, Matt Gaetz tweeted a 10-minute video of himself during this conference where he was saying he was just basically talking about everything else he thinks is wrong with the country and why there should not be a January 6th investigation. So he just was spewing words like Afghanistan and illegal aliens and, stuff like that. It was just like, look over there, and then we shouldn't be doing this. But he also later on the House floor claimed that someone on Twitter is threatening to kill him. He said that the Capitol Police suggested that this person be arrested, but then nothing ever happened because he's a Republican. Which makes me wonder, these people get death threats all the time. So it's like this guy is the king of like distraction, of like smoke and mirrors,
Right.
And I'm not saying that he's not
a politician.
I'm not saying he shouldn't be legitimately afraid for his life, and it's not fun to get death threats, but I know for a fact that people get death threats all the time, and when you're on TV, that just happens. But he thinks that no one takes it seriously because his name is not AOC or Omar Ilmar, sorry, yes, but because he's like white guy Republican, woe is me, poor me kind of thing.
Do you want to watch any of these?
I guess we can watch a little bit of it. Yeah.
No audio.
Like my constituents
Sorry,
and
we
my
didn't have
family
audio for that.
to know who stopped their arrest. Madam Speaker, on October 8th, 2021, a Twitter handle styled CIA Bob is at your door tweeted to @Rep Matt Gaetz, looky here, pal, I lived in Portland. Portland has ordered a hit on you. I accepted the contract. Have a good day. Following this tweet, this individual traveled to Washington, D.C., and the Capitol Police recommended his arrest. That's information that was just shared with me by the Investigations and Threat Assessment section of the Protective Services Bureau, and specifically George DeCesso. And George shared with me that the Capitol Police recommended the arrest of this individual and that the Department of Justice refused to do so, declined to do so.
So There you go. But the Jamie Raskin stuff, did you want to see that? Because Jamie Raskin.
Yes,
so
let's
during
watch
this,
that instead. Because
so they got into it yesterday about January 6th and the election and whether or not there was fraud. And so Jamie Raskin, lawyer to lawyer, had this back and forth. Watch this. So this was trending this morning as well. Watch.
Whether or not there's an adequate remedy. And I think also a number of those cases were kicked on remedies.
No court has said that fraud existed, and so there's no remedy because there's no violation, Mr. Gates.
Right, but you cannot.
There's no violation, there's no fraud.
Decided that there was no fraud if they didn't take up the question and review the facts on jurisdiction or remedy.
You know what? That might work on Steve Bannon's podcast, but that's not going to work in the Rules Committee of the United States House of Representatives. I'm sorry, Mr. Gates, forgive me. I've got some serious questions to ask you. The chairman of the January 6th committee, Chairman Thompson, and John Katko, who was the emissary of Kevin McCarthy, negotiated an agreement for an independent outside commission with 5 Democrats, 5 Republicans, equal subpoena power, right down the middle. And yet Donald Trump decided he didn't like it because he doesn't want anybody investigating January the 6th. So he turned against it, and then the Republican leadership flipped over and turned against it. I think you voted against that commission. Why did you vote against that commission?
For many of the reasons that I've discussed today, that the focus on January 6th,
so you don't want to know,
is unwarranted.
You don't want to know anymore.
Look, I think we have.
Okay, let me ask you about that.
We have a process in Article 3 where the courts get to determine those issues. If the United States government brings charges, people can resolve those in the courts.
You don't want to know.
That's not okay with you guys because you want to politicize it because you.
I know you too well for this. You don't want to know the answer.
all right.
This might work on Steve Bannon's podcast, but it's not going to work here.
Yeah. So people like this exchange, basically. Yeah. And, you know, I did sort of read through some of the responses to Matt Gaetz' own edited version that he posted on Twitter. And plenty of people are saying, I'm a Republican too. I do want to get to the bottom of this. This is bothersome. Let's just let it happen. Like, stop obstructing this.
Right.
And he's just, like I said, his main reason for being non-participatory is Afghanistan and budget.
And random.
And, you know, this
bunch
thing.
of other nonsense.
Like, I have a dentist appointment. It's not very logical.
Actually, that would be a pretty good excuse. I can't make it that day. I have a dentist appointment.
This is not jury duty. Yeah. Like, you can, okay. Carrot Top is trending because of a photo that comedian Kathy Griffin posted of herself naked. We can play it because it's the back of her. Do you have it?
I had everything you put in the folder. What is it?
Oh, this was a tweet. Okay. Because I didn't clip it myself. So it's just her back and she's sort of like shimmying like that, but she's naked. It's sort of nonsensical, but her hair does look crazy like Carrot Top. And people are saying that she looks like the comedian Scott Thompson, Carrot Top. Okay. The Truth Social is trending on Twitter, not the Truth Social, just Truth Social. This is the new social network that was announced by former President Trump. It is his response to being booted from Twitter and Facebook. No more coffee for me. So you may recall that in the blink of an eye, he lost 89 million followers and he wants them back. Invitations to the platform will go out next month and a wide release is expected next year. The platform will also have subscription level videos and what they call a non-woke entertainment programming. They don't want no woke stuff here. All non-woke stuff.
Non-woke.
Where you can say things like certain epithets. Clayton just went like this because he thought I was going to. Yes, like here she goes.
Yeah, here's when Natalie says something inappropriate.
We're gonna have to beep her.
I just love when anybody tries to lay claim to the truth. You know, like Truth Social. So
right.
So every other thing is now untruthful. Like you have now it's all on you. Truth.
No, and in fact, when you post to Truth Social, your posts instead of being called tweets, they'll be called truths. Hey Clayton, did you see my truth?
My truth
today.
All I want for Christmas is my two front.
Did you see my truth?
Did you see my truth today? I sent a truth earlier today. Do you see my truth?
Yes.
It's gonna be so weird. I sent a truth.
Now I thought about signing up for notifications about this, just to like maybe I want to hold my handle. You know, you never know.
Right.
But then I got scared to do that because I thought that I would get on the fundraising email lists.
Oh, yeah.
And I decided not to.
Yeah, I wonder what their terms of service say on there.
Right. Because I knew that as soon as I signed up, I would start to be getting Donald J. Trump for president 2024. And I was like, no, I think I'll not do that. So if someone else wants to post as at Natalie Morris.
I don't know why he didn't call it Truther, like Twitter.
Truther.
Yeah.
Truther.
Right. That's right. Yeah, that was kind of his thing.
Yeah.
So,
or truth news instead of fake news.
You know, one thing that bothers me, though, and I'm going to speak out here in defense of Donald Trump, is that anytime he makes an announcement and the news media picks it up, they refuse to link to his original post. So this was on his Trump media website, and it was a news announcement, right? And it had a hilarious quote saying, like, the Taliban's on Twitter, but your favorite president is not. And every news organization quoted him, but would not hyperlink to his original post. And they don't do that with other people. Like if Joe Biden posts something on his site, that gets hyperlinked to, or whitehouse.gov or any other like Apple announcement, anything. Everybody else gets sort of this. And it's like the news media specifically will not link to his original post. Maybe they just don't want to give him the traffic or the Google juice.
At that point,
in the newsletter,
really
I always do the opposite. I always link to the original one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if they do that, then you don't know if you're getting the whole context.
Yes. Yeah. You're absolutely right. So I do think that that's a bit biased. I don't like it. I feel like, hey, if it's enough that we're reporting on it, then you should link to the original source. So this is the second time that's happened since we've been reporting on Trump recently. Okay, Alyssa Milano is trending. She was arrested at the White House on Wednesday. She was demonstrating there, asking the Biden administration to protect voting rights. And police say that her group ignored several dispersal warnings and that they were issued citations for obstructing traffic, but she is back home safely.
What happens when you get arrested? Like you get arrested for like what, disturbing the peace or whatever, and then like you have like a permanent record.
I hope you know that this will go down on your permanent record. You know
what's that
is?
from? Is that
Violent Femmes.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, yes, I assume she now has a criminal. I don't know, traffic obstruction. Because would a traffic violation go on a criminal record?
It's probably like a class F misdemeanor.
Okay. I don't know, but she's okay with that. So.
And will she have a trial or something? I mean, they have that on her record, or is that just you accept that now that's a permanent thing?
I have no idea.
Yeah,
okay.
I don't think that they'd probably do any kind of court thing because, like, think of that. People, like, they'll take truckloads of people, give them a citation, and send them on their way. It's probably just a fine or something, I would think, because they can't, they don't want these people back in Washington for their court dates.
Right.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Oh, by the way, we just got breaking news on the Trump Truth
social
network has now been hacked.
Already?
Yeah, within hours of it being announced, it's already been hacked.
I know who hacked it.
Who's that?
My Pillow guy.
My Pillow guy.
He has the documents.
Oh,
see, now I'm really glad I didn't.
So yeah,
sign
you can't.
up.
I don't know if you can still sign up or not. Wow. Someone just said I've already registered Mike Pence. The site hasn't even launched yet, and it's already this vulnerable. Wow. And now the account was suspended. So yeah.
Well, okay, but let's throw back a little bit to some of the other Trump businesses that were not so awesome, like steaks.
Trump steaks.
Water bottles.
Trump water. Yeah.
Wine, right? Is there
books.
any...
Yeah, ghostwritten all of his books.
Is there any reason to assume that this would be done with better quality contracting? I don't know.
I don't wear a toupee.
Okay.
Anything else trending?
Finally, Meghan Markle is trending because she wrote an open letter to Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi asking them to fight to keep paid parental leave in any and all upcoming social bills. This was published on Paid Leave for All, and people took it as an opportunity to discuss the Duchess of Sussex and her role in American politics and whether or not she should open her mouth or not. The statement came from the Duke and Duchess, but it was only signed by the Duchess, which I'm not even sure they're really supposed to be using those names. It's like they use it when
Didn't they give them up? Didn't they give up their titles?
I think so, but I think they use it when they think that is good for them. I do notice they can't use the crest anymore. I'm not completely sure.
But they still get the stationery.
But it's a quite nice letter. And she talks about how she was, raised going to the $4.99 Sizzler salad bar, which is awesome, by the way. And I used to do that with my dad, too.
Yeah.
And that she knows what it's like to be on hard times and that she didn't have to make these choices when she brought her children home. And every family should be as privileged as her. So.
Yeah. If you tuned in late, the United States ranks dead last for paid family leave on childcare spending. 0. Well, actually, this is on childcare spending, $500, but on paid family leave, the United States is $0. $0. 0 weeks off for paid family leave when every other country has at least, a few weeks. So there you go. That's what's trending today. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We have a daily newsletter. You should subscribe.
Yes, please.
Join the tens of thousands of people who read it every morning over their cup of coffee. All you need to do is go to morninginvest.com. It's very easy to sign up. If you're new here, check it out. Go to morninginvest.com. I'll pull it up here on the screen. And all
for
you do
those
is
of
you
you
put
that don't, we're not partial to coffee. If you drink tea or juice or, water or whatever,
right.
It still applies.
Or decaffeinated like David.
Yep.
It doesn't have to be caffeinated. But you'll enjoy the newsletter. You can read the news in about 5 to 10 minutes. It's delivered to your email inbox first thing in the morning, right around 6:30 Eastern time. We cover like 5 or 6 big stories, plus some fun, a little comedy. We cover the markets a little bit. So you'll have
global tidbits.
Global tidbits. Like today. What was today? Today.
Scottish people.
Scotland.
Scottish people were voted the sexiest accent. That must be because of Outlander, right?
Must be.
Or Sean
Otherwise,
Connery.
are the Scots known
Sean
for being
Connery from,
quite so sick?
Yes.
007.
On the rock. Scrooge McDuck.
I found a cure for the plague of the 20th century.
That's pretty good.
The Hunt for Red October. Does he even say that? I don't know. I'm
don't know.
just naming movies that he's in. The Hunt for Red October.
I
don't
know.
Terrible. Well, we got to go back to the rock. Take me back to the rock.
I don't think that even sounds Scottish anymore. It's just like breathy and throaty. There's no like Scottish is like, hey, you wee lads, we can have a sling.
That's Irish.
That's Irish.
No, it's like
You wee lad? I thought that was Irish.
they use
Wee
wee
lad.
lads and lass. Yeah.
Oh.
Sassenach.
Sassenach.
When we have this funny thing we say to each other. When I was pregnant, we were in Scotland and we wanted to use the handicap parking because I was like this. And we said, can we park there? And the guy goes, oh, effectively, you're disabled. Because I was like, I couldn't even walk. I was like so waddly. We had no sticker. And he's like, oh, yes.
Well, we were driving
You
down
laugh.
to a castle, a fort, to do a
In
little
Inverness.
tour in Inverness, right near Loch Ness. And we were pulling in, and there where you drive down in, and like there was a backlog of cars, and they were asking like he was like directing traffic, the police officer, and he comes up to the car window, and we
And
roll
I'm
it
like
down.
this. And he goes, oh, you park over there. You wee lass. Effectively, you're disabled.
Yeah,
I was
effectively,
like,
he
"Bless you."
looks down at her belly. He's like, yeah, effectively, you are disabled.
So sometimes if I'm having trouble with something in the house, we repeat that little Scottish line. It's an
That's
inside
hilarious.
joke now that you can share with us.
Yeah, effectively, you are disabled. All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining us, David. So, are we going to have your audio back and up and running tomorrow?
I'm going to try to do it by tomorrow. I have to unplug my system and plug in the system so that I can replicate it here and try to figure out. I think I have some ideas with audio buses, but I'm going to need you to buy a specific cable. And I just want to make sure that I tell you the right cable before I send you on your way.
Don't send us on any more every night this week. We got to go back to the electronics store.
Every night this week, David. I'm like, I got to go get a
I
cable.
can't take it anymore.
gotta
We
get a
have to have
cable.
this buttoned up.
Anyway.
By the way, I didn't take from other disabled people who needed those spots. There were a lot. Still, I wouldn't have taken the only one.
Yeah.
For me,
Yeah,
I
but
just wanted to let that
we're disabled.
be
so.
known.
Yeah, there was a person in a wheelchair that was coming up behind us and was going to pull into that spot.
And no, this did not happen. There were plenty. I felt a lot of guilt about it, but I was super waddly. So
Yeah. No, every other spot was taken of people who had disability, but all of like the handicap spaces were wide open.
yes.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have done that. I just
But
wanted to say that.
In Europe, by the way, they have parking spaces close to stores and places because effectively are disabled.
Actually in Europe, if you go to the DMV, you don't even have to get in line. If you have a baby or you're pregnant, you just go straight to the front of the line. Same for any airport line or grocery line. It's agreed upon. You go straight to the front, pregnant or with babies.
I'd get one of those those over things that go under your shirt.
You can't game it. You have to actually need it. Yeah. Those of us who were waddly for several months at a time know.
All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us today on the old broadcast. Thank you. We'll be back here tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern time. Don't forget to get in your pet picks, by the way. Tomorrow is Pet Friday.
Oh, yes.
So email them to us. pets@morninginvest.com is the place to go and do that.
Halloween costumes are extra specially appreciated if you've got them for pets.
Yeah,
I do like a good hot dog, taco dog.
I'm going to send you a picture, Natalie, that I took of, we were trying to make Pizza a ghost outfit, but she poked her head through and looks like a nun.
Okay, so cute. I am here for it, and we'll be here tomorrow, everybody. Thank you so much.
Bye, everyone.
Slange.
Slange.